Welcome back to another episode of True Crime Talks. Today, we're diving into some breaking news that has shocked many. Bryan Kohberger, the man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students, has pleaded guilty to all charges. Let's unpack this together. What do we know so far?
Yeah, this plea deal came through just minutes before the news broadcast, and it's significant. Bryan Kohberger, who was facing 4 counts of first-degree murder, has decided to plead guilty to all charges. This includes the horrific stabbings that took place in Moscow, Idaho, back in 2022. It's a case that's been heavily covered in the media. What's interesting here is that he won't be facing the death penalty anymore. Instead, he'll serve 4 consecutive life sentences.
That's right. The deal essentially guarantees him life in prison without the possibility of parole, taking the death penalty off the table. It seems like this move is designed to spare both the defendant and the victims' families from enduring a lengthy trial. But I wonder, what does this mean for the families of the victims? They've been through so much already.
Absolutely. It's a relief for them in one way. They no longer have to relive the trauma in a public trial. But I imagine there's also a sense of unfinished justice. Some might feel that not having a trial takes away their chance to see Kohberger held fully accountable. At the same time, there's a practical side. This plea deal likely saves them from the emotional toll of what would have been a long and agonizing court process.
That's a tough balance. It's interesting that this plea deal also impacts the legal proceedings that were set to begin in just 6 weeks. With the deal in place, subpoenas for witnesses have been nullified, and the whole trial is basically off the table now. It makes you wonder, was this the right move for everyone involved?
It's a complicated situation. On the one hand, you avoid the risk of a drawn-out trial where emotions run high and the media circus just gets worse. On the other hand, there's always that question of whether the defendant really deserves to skip the full legal process. This was a brutal crime, and there's a lot of public interest in seeing justice done in full.
For sure. And there's something to be said about how this changes the dynamics for those still seeking closure. If Kohberger goes to trial, it would have meant weeks or even months of testimony, media coverage, and potentially more heartbreak. Now, they have a finality to it, even if it's not the way many might have expected.
Exactly. It's a tough call, but at least it's an ending of some kind. I think for the families, this plea deal means they don't have to go through that pressure cooker. But there's still a lot of lingering questions about the motivations behind this crime. Will we ever get a full picture of why this happened?
That's a great point. This plea deal means we might never know the full details of his reasoning, his state of mind, or the planning behind the killings. It's kind of an eerie silence when you think about it. Just the guilty plea and life sentences, no trial to dig deeper.
True. And now we're left with the aftermath. A man convicted, but without that trial drama to unfold for us. So, what do you think? Is this a case of justice being served, or is there still something missing?
Well, it's hard to say. Maybe it's justice. Maybe it's just the quickest way to close a painful chapter. What's clear, though, is that the story isn't over. It's just taking a new direction. We'll likely hear more in the coming weeks, especially as the court proceedings unfold. But for now, we're left with the harsh reality of what happened in that small town.
Right. The case might be closed in a legal sense, but the emotional weight will linger for a long time. This is one of those moments that leaves us thinking about justice, closure, and the real cost of crime. We'll definitely be following this one closely, and we'll keep you updated as more details emerge.
Absolutely. Well, that's all for today's episode. We'll be back next week to dig deeper into another case. Until then, stay safe and keep questioning the world around you.